Hello. In this video, I will be going over my individual project 3. So the purpose of this project is to build a Databricks data pipeline. And specifically, this repository contains 3 Databricks notebooks that perform ETL operations, as well as some querying and visualization of the transformed data to get some insightful results. And the dataset used in this project contains various features of contemporary music songs and is already included in the Databricks workspace as a sample dataset. And now I'll just quickly go over what our notebooks do. So we start with extract notebook, which loads our raw data into a table to make it available for the later processing steps. In this case, we're loading directly from within Databricks, but in future projects, you could also load from an external source. Then we move on to transform load, which transforms the original data into the appropriate column structure for later analysis. And here we're also using Delta Lake for data storage. Finally, query viz notebook performs several query transformations on the prepared data using Spark SQL. And then we also do things such as a data validation check. And then we finish with some visualization of the data to give some insightful results. So now I will just go to our Databricks cluster and we'll go over what our notebooks contain. So going to the workspace here, we start with extract. So this file just contains the establishment of our data schema as well as our data types, and then just puts our desired data into the appropriate structure. Once again, loaded from within the Databricks sample data sets. Then moving on to transform load. Here we're just implementing some SQL queries that will give us the column structure that we want, transform the variables as desired, and then also remove any unnecessary columns as well. So we end up with this transformed data. And then moving on finally to query viz, this is where we're doing a lot of our data analysis. So we start with a Spark SQL query here, where we're just getting the average duration of songs by artist. So we're grouping by artist. We're checking to make sure that the year is appropriate, and then we're also ordering. So we have a list here of the artists by their average song duration. We also perform a data validation check here. We're just checking to make sure that the query actually prints out a finite number of rows, which it does. And then finally here, we're doing some data visualization, just using some simple matplotlib. So this is just plotting a bar plot of all of our average durations, sorted from highest to lowest by artist. And then we finish here with just a couple of extra queries just to do some sample data transformation leveraging Spark SQL. Finally, we also have one more thing in this repository that's useful. We have this trigger.py file. What this file does is it allows us to run a project workflow remotely from the code spaces so that we don't actually have to do it within Databricks itself. For example, if we don't have access, as long as we can connect via the server hostname, job ID, and access token, then we can trigger a remote run. So to do this in the terminal, we simply just do python trigger.py. And we get a verification message that the job run was successfully triggered. And then we go back to our Databricks cluster, and then we can go to job runs. And we should see, that we have remotely triggered a workflow run. As you can see, the date is very recent, and it's currently running. I don't think we have enough time to wait. Well, maybe we will. Let's see. Just to confirm that the workflow succeeds in running. Maybe it will finish in time. In the meantime, we can take a look within the cluster. We can also look at our workflow here. Okay, so yeah, it finished successfully, a successful run of our workflow, and then we can look at the details here. We've built the workflow with extract, transform load, and query viz, which I went over before, and all of it was successful. So yeah, thank you so much for listening.